All right, so we looked at the independent pronouns just a little while ago. Let me go ahead and have us recite these together one more time. All right, so the 3MS pronoun for he or it is who, everybody. So let's say that. Who, she is he. And then for you, masculine singular is ata. And you, feminine singular, at. And then we have two forms, anohi and ani. And then on the plural side, haim or hema is they. Hain and hena is they, female. Atem, y'all. Aten, y'all, female. And then anachnu, we. And we talked about how these reflect at least the bottom ones reflect similarities here with the personal endings that we've learned. So that's good to remember those connections. These, yes?
If it's like third person plural or second and it's a mixed group, like guys and girls, is that typically going to be?
Masculine plural, yeah, 2MP. Mm-hmm. All right. What we have here on these two sentences are just some examples of using these independent pronouns. They're typically going to take the subject position when they're in a Hebrew sentence. So let's read these together. Repeat after me. V'hu kohen la'el elyon. This comes directly from Genesis 14:18. Now, he, 3MS pronoun, and this is a copular construction, so we need to add is or was here, depending on context. Here it's past. So now he was Kohen, priest, La'el Elyon, to God Most High, meaning he was his priest. Okay, so here I have a subject, and this is my copula that's not stated, and then the predicate is what he was. So subject pronoun. Typically, you can't really drop a subject pronoun when the verb is missing like this in a copular construction. So there's nothing unusual about having the pronoun here. But in the next clause, we actually have a verbal clause. This is the subject and this is the verb. So say this with me. Anohi yaradti. So this is I have descended. And notice that the ending here is the T ending, which is first common singular. The pronoun is the first common singular independent pronoun. Do I need this subject pronoun in order to know who did the descending here? I don't, because the ending already marks the subject as I, right? So when I have an overt subject pronoun in front of a verb that's already marked for the subject's person, gender, number, then this is redundant, and that probably means that the I here is being emphasized or there's some prominence being given to it, okay? Now, those are the subject pronouns or the independent pronouns. Hebrew also has some other pronouns known as the demonstrative pronouns. And as in English and in other languages, Hebrew has near and far demonstratives. Some grammars will describe these as proximate. Proximate means near, close by, and far could be distant, okay? All right. Now, the near ones then are close to the speaker, the one who's saying something or writing something. So if I'm holding a pen in my hand, I would refer to the pen as this pen. But if you're, because it's near me, the speaker. But if you're the one holding the pen and I want to make reference to the pen you have, I wouldn't say this pen that you hold. I would say that pen, right? And that's the far demonstrative. Demonstrative adjectives and pronouns are basically making reference to something's position relative to the speaker, either close by or far away or farther away. Typically, most languages will divide their demonstratives among two sets, near and far. If you speak Spanish, you know that there's actually three sets of demonstratives. There's one near, and there's two far demonstratives. Anybody know what they are? Well, what's the near demonstrative in Spanish? Aquí is here, but how would I say this? Okay, good. So esto, right? How would I say that? Eso, that one. And there's a farther remote one. Aquel. Right? You know that one? Okay. So some languages actually distinguish even among their far demonstratives. So thankfully, Hebrew only has 2 sets here. So that's nice. Let's look at the ones that we have then. The near demonstratives, there are basically 3 forms. Ze, zot, and ele. And they can all be articular. We can put the article on them, and I'll talk about when we do that in just a moment. But these are the way to say this and those. So notice I have a masculine singular form and a feminine singular form of this, ze and zot. So let's say that together. Ready? Ze is masculine singular. Zot, feminine singular. Now, do you remember that we had an adjective, Yafeh? What did that mean? Beautiful or handsome. What gender and number was Yafeh? Well, look at the form here. This is the form you learned as the lexical form. And when you learn adjectives, which form are you learning as the lexical form? The masculine singular form. Like tov, right? Tov was your lexical form. And Yafeh was your lexical form. So here ze matches Yafeh's ending. That is a masculine singular ending. Do you remember what we did to make this feminine singular? We chop off the segohe and add what? Kametze, right? And it becomes Yafa. Well, I told you that kametze was the most common feminine singular ending in Hebrew, but there was a second most common one. What was that? Well, that's plural, but the feminine singular? We learned a little song about this. 0, t. Remember that? Im and ot. Okay? 3 blind mice. 0, t. 0, t. Im and ot. Remember that? Okay. So the final tav is also a feminine singular marker. It's the second most common. So look what I have here with ze. It becomes zot. So that's feminine singular. That tav makes it look feminine singular. Okay? So let's say that again, everybody. Ze is this masculine thing. Zot, this feminine thing. And then ele. Notice I have a dot in the lamed. What kind of dot is that? Dagesh forte. How do I know it's not a dagesh lene? Because it's not a begad kafat letter. Begad kafat letters are the ones that have dagesh lene. Dagesh fortes do not. So this is a doubled lamed. Ele. Okay? So everybody, ele. So that's those. Ooh, that's not those. That's these. Please make that correction in your handout. That's these plural things. Now notice it's CP. What does CP stand for? Common plural. Okay? Common plural. That's, in other words, if these things I'm talking about are masculine, I use ele. If they're feminine, I use ele. If they're mixed group, I use ele. It's ele till the cows come home. All right? I do not distinguish genders if it's a plural set of these. All right. Now, the forms can also be articular. Articular means the article can be added. And this is going to happen when the demonstrative is not functioning as a pronoun, but as an adjective. Okay? So here I'm going to put pronoun, over here, adjective. The demonstratives can function as adjectives as well as pronouns. Let me give you an example over here. I could say something like, this stinks. This stinks. I could also say, this skunk stinks. Okay. Do I have the same word here? This and this? Yes. That is the near demonstrative in English, but it's functioning differently, isn't it? In the first sentence, Is this functioning as a pronoun or as an adjective? It is a pronoun. Excellent. What do pronouns do? They take the place of nouns and they fill the same sort of function slots that nouns do. Well, what do nouns typically do? Well, they're often subjects of a sentence, right? And here this pronoun is functioning as a subject. Something stinks. What stinks? This stinks. Now, in the second clause, I have the same word this, but now it's accompanied by a noun that it's modifying. It's telling you which skunk stinks. So is this demonstrative functioning as a pronoun or as an adjective? It is the adjective. Okay, so demonstratives can be demonstrative pronouns or demonstrative adjectives in their function. And it's modifying skunk here. So it's this skunk stinks. Okay, now to go back to our chart, when the demonstrative functions as a pronoun, it will never have the article. Never, ever, ever. When it's functioning as the demonstrative adjective, it will be articular. Okay? So in other words, here it's going to be functioning like the attributive adjective. And when it functions like an attributive adjective, what will it do? It will go after the noun and agree in what ways with the noun? Gender, number, definiteness. Isn't that what attributive adjectives do? Attributive adjectives go after the noun, agree with the noun, and gender, number, definiteness. We're going to see that with the demonstratives when they function as adjectives as well. Okay? We'll go through some examples of that in just a minute, but just to let you see. When I add the article, I'm adding the hey, pathak, doubling dot, unless there's a guttural that kicks the doubling dot away, and then I'm going to have to make some modifications. So everybody, hazeh is this, where it's functioning as an adjective. So I could say ha'ish hazeh, the man, the this is this man. Hazot is this as a feminine singular demonstrative adjective. So ha'isha hazot is the woman, the this. That would be this woman. Good. And then ha'ele as in these. And so I would say something like ha'anashim ha'ele. Ha'anashim ha'ele. And that would be translated how? Yes, these men. Literally, the men, the these. And that is these men. All right. Now, our far demonstratives are, thankfully, although this can be confusing a little bit, but thankfully, we don't have to learn new far demonstratives to say that. What Hebrew does is Hebrew shares the third person personal pronouns that we've just learned, shares those for the far demonstrative. So if we go back up here, the forms I learned for he and she and they, those can also mean that. Who and he could be he or she, or it could be that. Haim and hain, or hema and hena, could be they, the third person pronoun, or those, the demonstrative that's far or remote. Okay? So you don't have to learn new forms here, but you do have to know that you can put the article on the far demonstrative. So let's read the forms, everybody. Who means that masculine thing. He, that feminine thing. Over here, haim and hema are those masculine plural things, and hena is those feminine plural things. Now with the article, hahu and hahi, that masculine or that feminine thing. So if I want to say that man, it would be ha'ish, hahi, the man, the that. Ha'ish, hahi. Say that with me. Ha'ish, hahi, that man. How would I say that woman? Ha'isha, and then use the feminine singular form with the article. Ha-he. Ha'isha, ha-he. The woman, the that. Is that woman. If I want to add the article to the masculine plural form of those, it's hahem, everybody, or hahema. So those men would be ha'anashim hahem, or ha'anashim hahema. The men, those. And then those women, everybody, hahena. So the women is what? How do you say the women? Hanashim, not ha'anashim. That's men, right? Hanashim. The women, hahena. Those. Okay, so that's how we do it. All right, let's look at the 11.3 material in the Ross textbook real quickly, and we'll again look at a couple more examples. Okay. So this is 11.3 and Ross, page 95. Okay, so here what we have first of all are examples of the pronoun use. Remember, the demonstratives can function as pronouns, and when they do, they take the place of a noun. They do all the work that a noun can do. And when they are pronouns, remember, as pronouns, they never have the article. Okay? So here's the near demonstratives being used. Say this with me, everybody. Ze habayit. So this is not this house. It's not this house. Okay? How do I know that? If I want to say this house, the form of this has to go where? After the noun, and it has to agree with the noun. How? In gender, number, and definiteness. Okay? Ze does not go after this noun. And so it's not the attributive adjective function of the demonstrative. It's the pronoun function. So we're going to just leave this alone as this. This, and it's masculine singular. You don't have to say this man or this it. Okay? You can just say this. But what about this? Here I have a copula missing. I need to add is. So this is habayit, the house. Okay. Now, why is ze masculine singular here? Because what's masculine? The house is. That's right. On the other hand, I have zot, isha, tova. What form of zot is this? Or what form of the demonstrative is this? It's feminine singular. So masculine singular up here, feminine singular down here. Why is it feminine singular? Because isha is feminine singular. This feminine singular is isha tova. How would I translate that? It's a good woman. Why am I translating tova as an attributive adjective? Because it comes after the noun and agrees in what three ways? Gender, number, and definiteness. They're both feminine singular and they're both not definite. Okay? That's what I'm looking for an attributive. All right, now let's rework these. What if I wanted to say this house instead of this is the house? What would have to go first? Yep, ha, bayit. Okay, and then what would I have to do with the demonstrative? It's got to agree. So could I just say habayit ze? No, what else do I need? I need the ha. So now they're both masculine singular and definite, right? They agree, and the demonstrative adjective goes after. So here it's definitely functioning as a demonstrative adjective. How do I translate habayit haze? This house. Ze habayit? This is the house. Okay? Yes. For the feminine, how come what doesn't need the vowel? The aleph does not have a vowel because the aleph has quiesced. Remember, aleph quiesces, and when it quiesces, it's treated as if it doesn't really exist anymore. It's not pronounced, and it loses any vowel pointing too. Okay? So for all intents and purposes, the only sounds you're going to hear are the zayin, the holum, and the tav. Zot. Zot. Okay? Good. Thank you for asking that. Now, let's look at the second one. So we had zot isha tova, means this is the good woman. But what if I wanted to say this good woman? How would I say this good woman? What would I have to put first? Okay, good. The woman. So ha, isha, right? Good. Now, here's the question. Where does this go? Does it go before good or after good? We don't know yet, do we? Okay. Well, how would I say the good woman? Ha'isha, ha-tova, right? That's the woman, the good woman. And then I will put the demonstrative after, okay? So it would be ha'isha, ha-tova, hazot. The woman, the good, the this. Okay? So that's this good woman. Now think about this in English. Would you ever say, good this woman? No, you wouldn't, right? You would put this at the extremity. It goes at the very beginning. If I wanted to say, this good and beautiful woman, I wouldn't say, good this and beautiful woman. And I wouldn't say, good and this beautiful woman. It would be this good and beautiful woman, right? Well, in Hebrew, basically I put noun first, then adjective, and we basically translate this in the reverse order, right? So it's this good woman, ha'isha, hatova, hazot. So we're going to always put the demonstrative adjective at the back end of a string of modifiers for the noun. Okay? Make sense? All right. Let's just do a couple of examples using the far demonstratives real quickly, okay? Okay, so take a look here. I have hu hamelech. Hu hamelech. Now, when I have the word who, that becomes ambiguous, don't I? Because who could be translated and understood as one of two things. This could be the third masculine singular pronoun, he. So if it's that, then how would I translate hu hamelech? He is the king. But I could also understand who as the demonstrative pronoun, in which case is it near or far demonstrative? It's far. So I would translate this, if it's a demonstrative, as that is the king. Okay? Now, same thing with he. He could be a feminine singular pronoun, so that would be translated how? She is the woman. Or this could be the far demonstrative. And how would I translate it there? That is the woman. Okay? And the that, in English, you cannot tell the difference between whether the word that is masculine or feminine. But Hebrew does distinguish. And so you get a little bit more grammatical information in Hebrew than you do in English. Okay? So both of those are possible. Now, let's just work on the other side here, the demonstrative adjective use. What if I wanted to say not that is the king, but rather that king? How would I do that? That king. Ha-melech. And then what? Ha-hu. Excellent. Ha-melech. Ha-hu. Okay? Very good. The king, the that. Is it possible for me to to confuse this form with the independent third person pronoun that means he? No, because the independent pronouns he and she, when they mean he and she, never have the article on them. The only form that gets the article is the far demonstrative, because that's the only one of these forms that can act like an adjective, okay? So this will only mean that man, okay? The man, the that. How would I say that woman? Ha, isha, good, and ha, good, he, okay? Ha, isha, ha, he, that woman, okay? So again, you shouldn't say the woman, the she, because that doesn't work. It's not the woman, the she. It's not she woman, like he man, right? This is the woman, the that. So that woman. All right? So that's how this works. So the only way I can tell is in situations like this left side. It can never have the article, and when it has when it's lacking the article, then it could go either way, and then it just becomes a matter of context. If you're talking about someone close by versus someone far away, then you might go with the far demonstrative. Yeah. Or if I said something like, let me think for a minute. Yeah, if I were introducing somebody and said, here's my sister. She loves Hebrew, and I used he, I wouldn't want to say that one loves Hebrew, right? That would be just kind of weird. Yeah. But if I said, hey, look over there. He, that is so-and-so. Okay, good.
Normally, if it's just one sentence, either would work. But if there was more context.
Right. Yeah. With more context, you can usually clarify things. Alrighty. Good deal. Let's just for the time being, let's go to my answer key over here, and we'll just practice for a few minutes. When you do the homework for Chapter 11 and Section A, you're going to be given some English expressions using pronouns and demonstratives, and you're supposed to create them into Hebrew. What I want to do is look at my answer key, because I don't think you'll remember these when you get around to start doing the homework. And I just want to ask you to think about whether the demonstrative or the pronoun here is functioning as the third person pronoun, or as the demonstrative pronoun, or as the demonstrative adjective. So let's look at they first of all. Is that near or far? Okay, so this is near, and so we're going to translate it with the word this. Is it the adjective or the pronoun use? It's the pronoun use, because the adjective use will always have the article, okay? So it's this is the makom, the place, okay? Look at ele. Is that near or far? That's near. That's the way to say these. And is it the pronoun or the adjective use of the near demonstrative? It's the pronoun, again, because it doesn't have what? The article. Haim hayamim. Is that the third person pronoun that means they, or the demonstrative that means those? Is that near or far? Okay, if it's the demonstrative, it's far, right? But could that be the third person plural pronoun that means they? Yes, it could be the personal pronoun as well. So we have, the way this is written, we have two possibilities. So it could be they are the days, or if it's the far, is it the pronoun or the adjective use? It's the pronoun because there's no article, right? So it could be those are the days. Look at number 4. Hagiborim ha'ele. Is ele here the near or far demonstrative? It's near. Is it the pronoun or the adjective? How do you know it's the adjective use? It's after, and it agrees in gender, number, definiteness. Now notice ele is common plural. Hagiborim is masculine plural. Do those really match gender and number? Yes, because if something's common, then it can apply to masculine or feminine, right? And they're both articular, ha, ha. So they do match in all 3 ways. So it is definitely the demonstrative adjective. So I'm going to translate this as the warriors, these is these warriors. Hamakom hazeh. Is that the near or far demonstrative? Near. And is it the pronoun or the adjective use of the demonstrative? It's adjective. After, and it agrees in gender, number, definiteness. So, how would I translate that? The place, the this. How would I translate that? This place. Number 6, real quickly. Hayamim hahem. Near or far demonstrative? Far. Or is that the third person pronoun that means they? Okay. It can't be because it's got the article. Pronouns never have the article. All right. So, is this is it demonstrative pronoun or adjective? Well, it's adjective because it has the article. So how would I translate hayamim hahem? Those days. The days, those is those days. Halayla hahu. Near or far? Pronoun or adjective? Adjective. Okay, good. How would I translate that? What's halayla? The night. Hahu. The that. Put it together. That night. And finally, ha'am hazeh. Hazeh is near or far? Near. Is it pronoun or adjective? Adjective. So how will I translate this? This nation. Good. This nation. Not that nation. This nation. All right. Very good.